1, 2. Let's just do this, okay? What's up? It's your girl Victoria. I'm back with another episode of the VL75. Thank you so much for being here. It is Friday, July, what is it, the 21st, 22nd, something like that. 21st, I think, yeah. Y'all, things have been good. I'm in such a good mood. I don't know why. Maybe it's, I don't know, the planets are shifting, doing something. I don't know. Things are just, I feel good. I feel good. And it's interesting because yesterday I was so energetically drained. I took a 4-hour nap yesterday. What did I need? Okay, some sleep apparently. But anyway, I am so happy to be here with you all, back with another episode. I know it's been a few weeks. I've entered a new phase. I am back employed. Thank you, baby Jesus. And things are great. I had a lot of back and forth about this. When I first got laid off, I was trying to figure out what my next step was going to be. And it's like when you're in an abusive relationship and you're finally free from that abusive relationship, but then some parts of you just still wants to be back with that person, with your abuser, because in some weird way it's like a sense of safety, even though it was abusive, and even though it didn't treat you right, and even though your needs weren't really all the way met, but it was just there's just this sense of security there. And that's kind of what my relationship with corporate America was like. It's I know that this corporate does not have my best interest at heart necessarily, but for some reason I'm just so dependent on it. Then it's well, you can get back with the person who is abusive or narcissistic or whatever, and they may treat you a little better, but you go into it with a bit more wisdom the next time. So you know kind of what to expect, what not to expect. You know how to act, how to stand up for yourself, how to advocate for yourself, so that this go around things are a little better. And that's kind of how I feel with my new job in a sense. Corporate America is not necessarily meant for us, but we're here. Here we are. So while we're here, we got to make the best of it. We got to find ways to advocate for ourselves, let our voices be heard, work the way that we want to work, that's comfortable for us, while still meeting the needs of the organization. Because at the end of the day, we're hired to do a job. Even though we are fully capable of doing that job, sometimes the psychological pressures or just even the economical pressures of life can kind of prohibit you from doing your best self or showing up as your best self. I am determined this go around to do things on my terms. I heard someone say before, we don't work for these companies. Change your mindset. I don't work for my organization. I work with them. They work with me. And that is exactly the mindset that I have going into this next stage and phase with the company that I've been hired at. Is I work with them. We work together. It's you have a need and I have a need, and we're going to together work to meet these needs. But I don't want to feel like a slave to any corporation or any organization. And so far, so good. I will say that the company or the organization that I've joined, it is a nonprofit and it's in the field that I love. So it's kind of a blessing because I get to marry my experience, my expertise, my skills that I've built over the past 12 years of my career with my passions for theater and performances and knowledge and history and all of that put together. So I am excited to be in this new role. The beauty of it is it's a role that has never been at this organization before. So I'm coming in and I get to shape it. I get to create it, and I get to have a lot of input on what programs are created, how we go about executing those programs, who I get to work with, and it's a better situation overall. I'm just extremely grateful for it. I've been really working hard to really change my mindset and break the ideologies that I've started to construct or have about myself. In terms of being able to perform, I'm telling you, it's something again about being in a bad situation or an abusive situation where you start to doubt yourself and your worth. And it's I just said that totally backwards. I said yourself and your worth. yourself and your worth. I've been working to break that because there have been moments where in this new role, I think I've been kind of looking for them to like tell me like, okay, this is what we want you to do, because that's the environment that I kind of came from. It was a very more restricted environment. Even though they claimed that they like to give autonomy, it just was not that type of environment at all. And anytime I threw out an idea, or anytime I had an idea about something or something I wanted to, the way I wanted it to be structured, it was 90% of the time shot down because they already had an idea of how they wanted it structured. And so I was trying to fit into that construct for like 3 years. And it was just a constant battle. And it kind of messed with my psyche. It messed with my decision-making skills. And now that I'm in this role where I have much more autonomy and freedom, it took there were a couple moments where I was like questioning, like, is this the right thing? I need them to tell me. And then I met with my director, who was lovely, and she's like, do you? And like meant that thing. So I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, this is a better situation. In many ways, it's what I prayed for. When I was unemployed, I was praying, Lord, please, I need a job, okay? Because wasn't nothing coming in, y'all. Now, I had a lot of people who were supporting me. Thankfully, they were able to support me in many different ways, but none of that was guaranteed. And everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own responsibilities. And I do not count myself to be anyone's responsibility. The fact that people like willingly just kind of swooped in to help me whenever I needed it was a major blessing. I am so grateful for my village and the people who surround me and support me. Even people who I don't speak to or see on a regular basis, I've just literally got angels all around. Like, when you think about like who your angels are, sometimes it's literally your friends. It's literally the people who are around you, who are your village, your neighbors, your friends, the people you talk to. Like, those could be your angels. And so I'm so eternally grateful. I've kept the spirit and attitude of gratitude this entire time because I just knew that this was only a phase. I knew that there was also something I needed to learn during this phase, and there's still a lot that I'm learning. There's still a lot that I'm shifting in the way that I operate, in the way that I think. There's a lot that is changing with me, and I'm grateful for those changes because it's about time. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to learn, and everything that we go through is an opportunity to learn and to grow. Even the things that hurt, even the things that are uncomfortable. Like, I've dealt with a lot of hurt, a lot of disappointments, a lot of just heartbreak, and over a lot of things, personally, professionally. But the things that I needed to learn, I do understand that I feel like I've learned them. And I'm being given opportunities to refresh, start over, approach things differently, even with my finances. Now, I'm still digging my way out, right? But that may take some time in terms of like just rebuilding, because I'm literally starting from scratch. But someone told me, and someone was talking to me, one of my friends was talking to me about Steve Harvey and his story, and how he had to like start over a couple of times in life. And the magnitude of pressure that he was under, and the amount of money that he owed and that type of thing was astronomical, and I can't even fathom those numbers. My start over doesn't look like his start over per se, but in the same sense, I'm being given an opportunity and a chance to start over. And I think it's befitting that I am approaching my 40th birthday next month. I am, 37 days away from turning 40? For the next 37 days, it was going to be 40 days, I have decided to just go all in, being completely dedicated to myself. Exercising right, eating right, because y'all, I have not been going to the gym. I'm just going to be here to confess, okay? I have not been good on my workouts. I've almost fallen completely off. And that's just not okay. That's not okay on any level. But you can always pick it back up. That's the beauty. And because I'm turning 40, honey, I can't afford to not take care of my body. A sis is trying to stay mobile, healthy, thriving, beautiful for the rest of my days here on earth, okay? I'm trying to be like 98, looking 60. Okay, don't play with it. Don't play with it. But yeah, I'm starting over with that, starting fresh with that, starting fresh with eating and feeding my body the way that I need to feed my body, hydrating properly, which I drink a lot of water anyway, but if you ain't eating right, it don't make no difference, girl. Spiritually, I feel like I've really built a strong spiritual life, a strong spiritual practice. I pray on a daily, I read my word on a daily, I seek and consult with my angels on a daily. I'm constantly seeking direction and guidance from God and from the universe and from my angels. I'm tapped in. I'm tapped in and I'm getting back into alignment. I feel like my life is falling back into alignment. Things had to fall apart so that they can fall into place. As I approach my 40th birthday, I'm having a party. I'm having a party, and I've never had an actual, the last actual birthday party that I had was when I turned 6 years old, and my father threw that birthday party for me, and then later that night he passed away. Wow. I think when I turned 30, my ex-husband did throw me a little surprise shindig, but it was more just he flew my family in and we all did something at the house. So it was a party, I guess you could say, but it wasn't an actual party. This year, because I'm not able to travel yet for my birthday, because I just started a job, so I'm trying to work my way up in terms of financially, saving again and paying some things down and whatnot. Speaking of, if you want to donate to the Cash App, it's right here, honey. Send gifts. I'm open. Send some monetary gifts. I am receiving them for the rest of my days. Anyway, I am going to have a party, and so my friends were like, if you don't do something for your 40th, girl. So I, sent out some invitations. I'm like, Vic's 20 twice. Vic is turning 20 twice. Let's do this. And sent out some invitations to people who were in my contact lists, and to my surprise, a lot of people have RSVP'd. I don't think I expected that many people to respond. I sent it out just as a courtesy, sort of, and then almost everybody responded. And so now it's a party. It's a party. So if you see this, I guess you're welcome to come to the party on August 20th. Details will be following. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a time. The theme is going to be bright and colorful. I want everyone to wear bright colors. And it was fun. I was telling my sister, and she's a party planner, and she's like, oh, we got to do centerpieces and this and that. And when I told her I wanted bright colors, at first she's like, that sounds so elementary. I'm like, no, I want it to be bright and colorful. Colors, everything means something to me. Numbers mean things. Colors mean things. And it's a certain energy and a certain vibe that I want. So I want everyone to wear bright pinks and fuchsia and bright purple and blue and bright orange and yellows and vibrant, with accents of gold. And, I'm going to have food and it's going to be a party. All right. I'm still working out all the details, but I'm excited. And I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve to be celebrated. I just feel like the rest of this year is just, I'm welcoming all of the blessings, everything that belongs to me. I had to speak to myself and say, listen, take the blinders off, take the blocks off, take the inhibitions, to remove those from your life, remove those from the way that you think, because I've been through it, all right? And I learned some things. And now with what I've learned, I'm just shifting. And I'm just so ready for my next chapter. And I'm also ready to let go of the things that are no longer serving me. So I've been working at the restaurant. And, it did what it needed to do, I guess, for the time being. But I've just never, understanding the way the world works is one thing. And again, being in this past few months, I've built up a lot of I would say karmic credits, but I've also learned a lot about just the way the world works. And I just realized how deceptive a lot of these corporations and business owners really are. And I don't know that they necessarily start out that way. I want to believe that everybody is good and pure and that everyone's intentions are pure. That's what I truly want to believe, right? That people are generally good. But when you start to do things that are manipulative and you start to operate in a way that is not fair to others, then that's when I'm just you've been got. Like, the corruption has gotten to you. So, like, I'm not trying to say anything bad necessarily about the restaurant owners for the rest of the restaurant group that I work for. I think they're generally in general decent people, right? But like, the business practices that they have for their corporation is just exploitative, and for lack of a better word. And I'm realizing that. And the sad thing is, I've been working there, you know, and I realize that there's a lot of people who work there who, that's all they know. They've been in that industry for years, and that's really all they know. And they feel like, oh, this isn't so bad, even though they deal with the abuse, they deal with the poor management, they deal with the back and forth and the lack of organizational skills. Like, they deal with it, and for the most part, I've been dealing with it too, but I also speak up about it. When I see something that's wrong, I'm like, yo, this is not right. Like, what? And for the most part, I honestly feel like that lifestyle is like basically indentured servitude. It's basically sharecropping. They take so much, and it's almost free labor. I had already told them I wasn't going to work full time there because I just couldn't physically. It was too much on me, but also it was like blocking me from other things. So I went down to a couple days a week, and I knew that my checks were going to be less, but it also meant they could take less, because the way that they like presented and sold, you know, how much money we could potentially make at this restaurant to us was like a dream, right? And it was just very deceptive. So if you're watching this and you're the business owners there, you knew what you were doing. You were being very deceptive, taking advantage of people who just really didn't understand. So we get hired on, and most restaurants, they have a tip share. That's normal, right? Because you have support staff like the bar backs and the food runners and the bussers and et cetera, who don't work for tips. However, they do get a higher hourly wage than the servers and people who work for tips do get. So that's a whole nother thing. But they don't work for tips. So most organizations or restaurants who have tipped employees have some sort of system where the tips are pooled or shared in some way, shape, or form to sort of even the score a bit for the people who don't get tips. There. The deceptive part is they tell us, oh, you know, once we're open for business and once we start popping, like you can on average make about $35 to $40 an hour. Okay, that's not bad. So you're doing some math in your head, like, oh, I could make out pretty decent here if I work, you know, X amount of hours. And they're like, and we only take 8% for the tip share or tip pool. And you're thinking, oh, okay, that's not bad at all. You know, 8%, sure. But it's 8% of your sales, not of your tips. So let's do the math. So if I'm working one night and I sell $2,000 worth of food, $2,000 worth of food is the sales that I make. Sales, that's like food and drink, right? They will take 8% of that, which is what, $160? Yeah. But on $2,000 worth of sales, that's not what I'm getting tips. On average, tips are running around 20% of your sales on average, because everybody, let's just be real, does not tip. And everybody does not tip well. So let's just assume that everyone tips 20% on my $2,000 worth of sales. That's $400. At the end of that night, they don't take 8% of my $400 for the tip share, which would be fair, which would be logical, which would still be money that everybody can pull together to give to the non-tipped employees, right? Because again, they're already getting paid a higher wage than we are. 8% of that would be cool, but they take 8% of the sales that I make, right? Which is, again, $160. From that, my tips, so my tips are $400. They're taking $160 from my tips. They based that $160 on my sales. Please tell me how that's fair. So at the end of the night, I'm only ending up with, you know, basically they take almost half of what I've earned that night. How is that fair? Especially when you sold it to me like, oh, we only take 8%. And on average, you could make about $35 to $40 an hour. Yeah, before y'all take half of it. Mind you, that take home tip after the tip out, after they rob me of almost half of it, is then taxed.
Wow.
So y'all tell me how that's not exploitative. Please. Somebody help me understand how that's not exploitation of your workers. And then you have all these expectations of the workers. Like, I'm not even gonna go into all the responsibilities and duties and things that we do, the ridiculous things that we do in the restaurant. And on top of that, they don't even feed us for free. You would think you work in a restaurant, you get free food. Nope. We still gotta pay 50%. It's ridiculous. Like, the practices that they have in place are only meant to protect them. And then DC has been, doing all these initiatives so that they can raise the minimum wage for service and tipped employees, right? To help even the score. So a lot of people go to restaurants and they think that automatically the tip is included. That's not the case. At the restaurant I work at, it's only included automatically if the party is over 5 or more. But a lot of people don't understand that tipping is optional. So yes, we will automatically put it on for most, bills over 5 people, to guarantee that we get a fair, really it's to guarantee the restaurant gets their money, more money. But anyway, DC is slowly raising the minimum wage. And as a way to offset those costs, there's this initiative, it's called Initiative 82. As a way to offset those costs, the restaurant that I work at, most restaurants I'm assuming are doing this, they have started charging the patrons. So on your bill, you'll see a 3.5% fee for Initiative 82. Now that fee at 3.5% does not, inadvertently it's supposed to go to us, but it's not going to us. That's not a part of our tip. It is going to the restaurant to try and help the restaurants offset the cost of paying higher wages to their employees. Now, in a way, I understand that. In a way, I get it. It's like they've had to assume more costs. But y'all are already taking a lot of money from us. And I don't want to hear that y'all are taking that money and splitting it among the non-tipped workers. Because I don't believe it. Because a lot of those non-tipped workers, when you speak to them, they're like, no, I'm not really seeing no extra money on my check. So where the money going? You best believe we're assuming credit card fees, we're assuming merchant fees, we're assuming all sorts of fees for these restaurant owners. And I'm just calling it out. And at the end of the day, I just don't want to subject myself to that any longer. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be there. I'm, just there until I get what I need, and then I'm out, because I refuse to continue to stay in these abusive relationships. Once I realize that this is not a fair, even exchange, I'm out. And the sad part about it is, I'm sure somebody will watch this and be like, girl, they don't care. And you're right, they don't. But all I gotta say is karma. And that's the biggest lesson I've been learning, is what I put in and what I get in return is a direct correlation of how I think and how I treat people. So when I am creating organizations, or if I'm creating, businesses or even programs for these organizations that I work for, I'm thinking people first. I am not thinking with a mindset of how is this going to make me, win? How can I take advantage? And I think that's the part of that people miss out on. And granted, yes, the restaurant business is very hard, and it's like one of the ones that goes under fastest and all that and blah, blah, blah. But I also feel like you got to pay attention to, like, there are successful business owners, and I feel like a lot of those people are just genuinely good people. If you are doing good business practices and your intent is to treat your people fairly, then your business will thrive. If not, you're going to see all kinds of problems and issues. And that's just the way it is, because that's the way life works. That's the way the world works. Spiritually, at least. If you're not spiritually aligned, then you may not believe this. It doesn't mean it doesn't apply to you. It just means you don't see it that way, and then that's on you. But either way, I'm not letting that bother me. That's neither here nor there. I am grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the purpose that it served in my life for the time being. I learned a lot of lessons. I was able to impact people, because y'all know my mantra here, impact over influence, baby. Impact over influence. And I feel like I've had the opportunity to be impactful in that space, but I'm just no longer going to subject myself to the abuse and exploitation. I'm worth more than that. And you are too. Anyway, anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I do have some work to do, but I just wanted to come on and give you all an update on what's been happening with me. I am so grateful for you. I love you all for being here. We are in a time of abundance and receiving. I told y'all I'm in my receiving season, and I am receiving all of the things. I am open to receiving all the blessings that God has for me. Everything that belongs to me shall come to me, and it will last. Okay, none of this in and out, back and forth. Oh, no, not that. Nope, it's time. I decree and declare it is time for everything that belongs to me, that is for me, and that is for my highest and best self, will come to me. And I receive it. And I also speak those blessings on you. So thank you for being here. I love you so much. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me here. Comment below. Give me some good energy. Send some good wishes. Thank you to the new followers that I have, the new subscribers that I have. I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry you have to see me looking like this, but hey, it is what it is, okay? And I'll be back with more updates later. Love you. Mwah.